I'm Jessica Mazo, and I am here with author Patricia Dunn. Now, congratulations on your debut novel, Rebels by Accident. Now, I know this is your first novel, but...
Published novel. There's a few in the drawer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get into talking about Rebels by Accident, can you tell me about some of your other writings and things you've had published in the past?
Sure. Well, most of my writing has been nonfiction. I've had some fiction published, but I've written for several anthologies, and I've been Salon.com, The Village Voice years ago. I wrote a little bit for the LA Weekly, and a lot of it personal essays mostly. Years ago I was a journalist, and then realized, okay, I had too much of an opinionated personality.
Right, to be so objective
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
journalist.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I turned to more, just kind of writing what I think, and so.
Now, when did you start working on this book, and how long did it take you?
Well, I started working. I had finished my novel. First novel, and it was out in the world, which did get me an agent, but that's a whole other story. And I needed to do something, and I had finished my MFA program at Sarah Lawrence, and I was teaching there, and so I was also able to take classes. So I took a class with a playwright there called Cassandra Medley, and she had this wonderful way of just having us do all these writing exercises. And so she had us do this exercise, and this voice started coming through, students in the class said, "Oh, it sounds like you're channeling her." It was this teenage voice. And I kept resisting it, because I teach teens in the summer. I have a teenager. I was a teenager. I love teenagers. But they're very honest and a little bit scary, so I tried to make the narrator more adult. This was way before, J.K. Rowling was just starting to become known. It was before, everybody was doing YA. But after a while, the more I wrote, the more this stroke character, Miriam, kept coming out, and so it was about probably 7-8 years ago. And then, but the revolution didn't happen yet, so the whole book was in place except for that major event, and then when that event happened, I added it into the book because it kind of fit the theme of what the youth were doing there, and the Facebook generation. And so, but I joke around and I say thank you to the people of Egypt, because it's all about me for having a revolution, so that I can kind of finish the book. But yeah.
Now, it's funny that you mention the voice of the teenage protagonist, because when I read it, I really felt like I was reading something that I felt like I was reading something a teenager wrote. Well, it's just such a strong teenage girl voice.
Well, yeah, I always joke around and say we never graduate from high school. But I really think that, whether I channel that voice or that it was just kind of like the teen that's still in me, but it came pretty natural. The only thing that I did have to do a lot of research, and I checked with as many teenagers as I could, is terms. Well, do you still say this? And and there are a few things that I'll read now, like OMG, and I'm like, well, do they still say OMG? So. But other than that, I think the voice isn't exactly mine, but there's something in me that still sounds like. Hi, I'm Patricia Dunn, author of Rebels by Accident, an action-adventure story of 2 teenagers who are sent to Cairo to be with their grandmother and get caught up in the revolution. So if you want an exciting, wonderful story, you can get this book. Check out my website, patriciadunauthor.com. Go to your local indie bookstore, or of course, there's always Amazon.com. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.